You won't believe what's come out about Meghan Markle. Tom Bower, the man known for uncovering royal secrets that make even palace walls shiver, has just dropped a revelation that could rewrite Meghan's entire story. And this time, it's not about feuds, fashion, or family drama. It's about something far more personal. Something that quietly sat at the center of her life, hidden under royal polish, behind glowing interviews and carefully chosen words. Her age. Yes, Meghan's real age. The one the world never questioned. The one written on her official biography, stamped across countless articles, and repeated like gospel. But according to Bower, that timeline doesn't just twist a little, it breaks completely. Because when you start pulling on the loose threads of Meghan's life, they don't stop at a simple mistake. They unravel an entire version of her story that might never have been true at all. Bower's research didn't come from gossip magazines or internet rumors. It came from cold, printed facts, old records, forgotten documents, and quiet statements from people who actually knew her before the royal crown and Hollywood fame. And when you listen to those voices, one question hits you harder than any headline. Why was her life story rewritten in the first place? Let's start from the beginning, where this mystery first cracked open, not in Buckingham Palace, not on Netflix, but in the memories of a father. Before the gowns, the press, and the royal titles, Meghan Markle was simply Thomas Markle's little girl. A father who still remembers her laughter echoing through the hallway, her school plays, her childhood birthdays, the exact years things happened, just like any parent who carries their child's timeline in their heart. But when Meghan became a global name, Thomas noticed something odd. The world's version of his daughter's life didn't match his. Dates didn't add up. Ages seemed shifted. Events appeared to have happened earlier or later than he remembered. He didn't run to tabloids waving documents. He didn't shout it from rooftops. He simply spoke softly, like a man burdened with a truth too strange to ignore. He said the Meghan he raised, the one whose milestones he'd celebrated, wasn't born in the same year the world believed she was. And that quiet statement from her own father was the first crack in the royal illusion. A tiny fracture, but one big enough for something astonishing to slip through. Because not long after that, a discovery was made that sent chills down the spines of even those who thought they'd heard it all. It was March 1997. Teen girls across America were flipping through 17 magazine, the glossy Bible of every dreamer back then. Among pages filled with makeup tips and college features was a list of young women names of those being recognized for youth programs and competitions. Ordinary enough, until one name jumped off the page. Meghan Markle, age 21. Not 15, not 16, 21. Printed in ink, circulated across the United States. Archived long before Meghan ever met Prince Harry, long before she had a team to manage her image. A number that, if true, doesn't just challenge her official story, it destroys it. Because if she was 21 inches, 1,997, that would place her birth around 1,975 or 1,976, not 1,981. Meaning she would be about 6 years older than we were all told. Now, 6 years might not sound like much, but in the world of Hollywood timelines, public perception, and royal introductions, 6 years changes everything. Her school years, her graduation age, her early auditions, her rise in acting, all suddenly take on a new meaning. Even her age when she met Harry and when she married into royalty, every milestone shifts. The fairy tale image of a 6-year-old actress stepping gracefully into royal life, it might have been rewritten from a different truth. That one magazine didn't whisper, it screamed contradiction. A contradiction so clear it turned Meghan's birth year from a background detail into a mystery headline of its own. But just when people thought the age puzzle was wild enough, Bower hinted at something even deeper, a second story, far more intimate and even more impossible to ignore. Meghan's first pregnancy. You'd think that chapter would be simple, a joyful time, a royal baby, happy parents. But Bower says the story surrounding Archie's birth wasn't just confusing, it was carefully crafted. He didn't yell it for attention. He said it quietly, like a man who'd spent years listening, checking, and piecing together fragments from people who actually knew what happened behind those private hospital doors. And what he found didn't match the fairy tale version we were sold. Meghan's birth story, the way it was told in interviews, and Harry's memoir sounded almost too perfect. A calm labor, 2 epidurals, a serene duchess who gave birth, smiled for cameras, and was home with her newborn within 2 hours. It read like the ending of a romantic film, not a real childbirth. And that's exactly what raised eyebrows. Because real births aren't Instagram moments, they're messy, exhausting, and medically complex. And then came the twist that sent everything spiraling. Someone from inside Portland Hospital, the very place where Meghan supposedly gave birth, spoke up. Not a gossip blogger, not a random witness, someone who knew how the hospital actually operated. And what they said changed everything. They claimed the details Harry described in Spare didn't match hospital reality. For starters, the 2 epidurals part. In real medical practice, epidurals aren't like painkillers you take twice. You get 1, it's placed once, it runs continuously. So 2? That's not standard. It's nearly impossible. And then the timing. According to their story, Meghan gave birth, recovered, and left in 2 hours flat. But every mother and doctor knows that's simply not how it works. After an epidural, you can't just walk out. Your body has to recover. Your vitals are checked, your mobility monitored, your blood pressure stabilized. That alone takes hours. And the drive from Portland Hospital to Frogmore Cottage, nearly an hour. So somehow, the delivery, the medical checks, and the discharge all happened in less than 2 hours? For hospital staff, it wasn't just unbelievable, it was logistically impossible. Yet the public got a picture-perfect story, dim lights, scented candles, yoga balls, calm breathing, and a smiling duchess ready to go home. It was beautiful, yes. But as that insider put it, that's not how it works here. And when you think about it, they were right. Because Meghan's pregnancy wasn't a normal one. She was over 35 at the time, which in medical terms classifies as geriatric pregnancy. It sounds harsh, but it simply means more care, more observation, and more rules. Women in that category are kept under close watch for their own safety. They don't get spa-like setups. They don't get rush discharges. Everything is slower, monitored, precise. But in Meghan's story, it all looked cinematic, effortless, ethereal. And maybe that's what makes it all so strange. Because if her real age was indeed 6 years older, that means she was in her early 40s when Archie was born, not her mid-30s. Which suddenly makes the hospital's caution seem even more necessary and her version even more unrealistic. Then, there's another chilling detail, the mention of preeclampsia, a dangerous condition that can turn fatal if not treated immediately. If Meghan truly had symptoms of that, doctors would never have allowed her to leave the hospital that quickly. She would have been under strict observation, given magnesium treatments, and advised full rest. Yet, the official story? A radiant duchess walking out the door with a newborn as if it was the easiest thing in the world. So what was all this really about? The facts? Or the image? Because as Bauer points out, none of these contradictions seem accidental. They seem intentional, crafted, shaped to fit a narrative of perfection, a story of control, grace, and calm that fed into the royal fantasy. A fantasy where every detail glows under the public eye, even if it means quietly rewriting a few things along the way. And when you look at it all together, the shifted birth year, the polished pregnancy story, the contradictions in medical details, it starts to feel like more than coincidence. It feels like someone carefully painted a portrait of who Meghan was supposed to be, not who she actually was. A woman reborn in a timeline that suited her rise. A fairy tale written in ink, not truth. And maybe that's the part Tom Bauer wanted the world to finally see. Not just the facts, but the pattern. Because once you start seeing it, you can't unsee it. The truth isn't loud. It doesn't shout. It's in the small things. The magazine from 1997, the father's quiet doubts, the hospital insider's calm correction, tiny cracks in the illusion. And now that those cracks are visible, one question echoes louder than ever. If her age and her motherhood story were rewritten for the world, what else might have been too?